You don't need to chase her. You need to do something much more powerful. If you want to leave a permanent psychological mark on a woman, you don't do it flowers or sweet words. You do it by mastering your presence, your detachment, and the kind of emotional imprint that lingers long after you're gone. Most men focus on attraction, but few understand how to create addiction. And even fewer know how to stay in her subconscious without saying a single word. If you skip this video or jump ahead, you'll likely miss the exact patterns that make her brain crave your energy. So stay with me, because the real power is hidden in what you're about to hear, and if you truly absorb it, she'll never see you the same way again. If this message already struck a chord with you, take a second to like the video and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. You might be helping a man rise and saving him from years of confusion. Let's start with what most men get wrong and how that one mistake makes them forgettable in seconds. Let's kick it off with a truth bomb you've probably never heard one. Stop being nice. Start being dangerous. The first rule is brutal. Stop being the nice guy. The guy who over-explains, replies in seconds, and checks in constant. That man leaves zero tension. He's predictable. You want to leave a permanent psychological mark? Start creating emotional friction. That means breaking her rhythm. If she expects you to say good morning every day, stop. Break the pattern. Let the silence scream louder than attention. Most men are addicted to approval. It's a quiet addiction to validation. Every time you double text or rush to fix something, you're teaching her that your energy is cheap. The fix? Cut it. Don't explain why you're busy. Just be busy. When she feels your absence without drama or apology, it starts to itch in her subconscious. That itch is where the obsession starts forming, not in comfort, but confusion. Here's exactly what to do. For the next 7 days, eliminate all unnecessary contact. If she doesn't message you, good. Let her wonder. If she reaches out, take your time. Respond calmly, without enthusiasm. One-word answers? Yes, sometimes. Short, sharp, clean. You're not being rude. You're showing dominance. You're retraining her brain to associate your attention with rarity. Control your facial reactions too. When she expects a compliment, give her a look instead. Calm, unreadable. Don't say, "You look beautiful." Just hold eye contact and nod once. Let your presence speak. That blank space between what she expects and what you deliver creates a mystery she can't explain. And when her brain can't explain you, it stores you deeper. This isn't emotional manipulation. This is strategy. You're not punishing her. You're creating space for her to feel your weight. That space builds intrigue. You want her to feel slightly off balance. Not unsafe, just not fully in control. That's what builds attraction. Safety is for friends. She needs to feel something sharper when she's around you. The edge of unpredictability. Your goal is not to be perfect. It's to be unforgettable. She won't remember your jokes, but she remember how your detachment made her question herself. That memory becomes your emotional imprint. It's not about hurting her. It's about disrupting the pattern long enough to become the one she can't stop thinking about, even when she's with someone else. So, starting today, stop making her comfortable. Stop being the soft pillow. Be the fire that warms, but burns if held too long. Pull back, slow down, speak less, hold eye contact long, and disappear for a while. Then watch what happens when you return. She won't just notice you, she'll feel you. That's when you own her mind, and it's only the beginning. You've pulled back. Now let's make her crave you. 2. Be the scar she can't heal from. Here's what most men don't realize. Emotional impact doesn't come from what you give. It comes from what you take away. To leave a permanent psychological mark, you must become a disruption in her story. Someone who wasn't just sweet or present, but someone who left a dent. You do that by mastering presence in the moment and absence right after. She needs to feel the tension of your sudden silence after deep emotional closeness. Let her open up to you. Listen without judgment. Hold strong eye contact. Nod. Touch her wrist. Then vanish for 48 hours. Nothing. That sudden gap leaves her in an emotional free fall. Her brain will rush to fill the silence with meaning. That's the exact moment where the subconscious locks on. You've created space for her to project, imagine, and obsess. You didn't ghost her. You imprinted her. You want something she'll never forget? Don't argue. Withdraw. Calmly. Confidently. Let her sit in the discomfort. The emotional imprint isn't left in the high. It's burned in the detachment. That's where the obsession is born. A man who can disappear without resentment is a man who triggers reflection. She'll think of what she said, what she did, what she missed. That internal spiral is your advantage. Here's a powerful exercise. Next time you're with her, tell a story that leads nowhere. A deep one, about pain, loss, or a powerful memory. Then stop halfway. Smile. Say, never mind. That emotional cliffhanger creates intrigue. It's a Machiavellian tactic, offering emotion, but keeping the full truth out of reach. That tension makes her chase. It plants a seed of unresolved emotion she revisit alone. Women remember moments, not monologues. You don't need to impress. You need to disturb. Be the enigma that never fully opened up. The man who made her feel more than she could handle, then disappeared with no warning. That story becomes internalized. It lives in her subconscious. That's how you leave influence, by giving her the emotional high and pulling the rug just enough to make her stumble. Control is everything. Not control over her, but over the timing of your energy. That's power. And when you can turn it on and off at will, you become magnetic, irresistible. She'll think about you not just when she's alone, but especially when she's with someone else who lacks that depth. That contrast sticks. That's what makes you unforgettable. Here's what to do this week. Create a deep emotional moment, then go silent for 24 to 48 hours. No good night, no explanation. Let her reach out. Let her wonder. If she doesn't, even better, she's already spinning. You're not trying to hurt her. You're activating parts of her that most men never touch. And now that she's emotionally cracked open, it's time to pour in something even deeper. Now it's time to turn your presence into pure pressure. 3. Hold the frame, own the room. Every man walks into a room. Few actually take control of it. If you want to be remembered and felt, you need to master presence. That means you enter slowly. You stand tall, shoulders back, eye contact steady. No rushing, no fidgeting. Just calm energy that tells the room, I'm not here for attention. I am the attention. That level of grounded confidence is impossible to ignore. When she's around, never chase her vibe. You set the tone. If she's nervous, you're calm. If she's loud, you lower your voice. You don't match her chaos, you anchor it. That's how you build influence without needing approval. You become the emotional thermostat. A man with self-worth doesn't dance for connection. He watches. He listens. Then he speaks with purpose. Here's a shift you can use right now. When speaking to her, slow your words by 10%. Lower your voice slightly. Pause mid-sentence. That calm, steady rhythm demands attention. It projects dominance and emotional control. Practice it with everyone, waiters, friends, strangers. Once it's natural, it becomes magnetic. The way you speak becomes part of the emotional imprint she carries. Be aware of your posture. Sit wide. Take your space. Don't lean in too much. Lean back. Let her come toward you, even physically. Detachment is powerful. If you find yourself adjusting constantly to her pace, her comfort, stop. Reverse it. Let her adapt to you. That silent reversal of roles flips the dynamic. It places her in the position of pursuit. When conflict arises, stay calm. Never argue emotionally. If she's heated, you hold the silence. That stillness is power. It says, you can lose control. I won't. That contrast activates her subconscious attraction to stability. Most men panic, raise their voices, beg to be heard. You speak low, slow, short. That's strategy. That's the language of kings, not clowns. Every move you make it intentional. Don't fiddle with your drink, your phone, your keys. Let your hands rest. Let your eyes focus. Let your stillness speak. That kind of control bleeds into everything. Her attraction, her memory of you, the mystery she can't explain. That's how you turn moments into obsession. Not by doing more, but by doing less, with more weight. Here's a simple drill. Today, when you walk into any space, say nothing for 10 seconds. Just scan, breathe, own your ground. Let people adjust to your rhythm. That micro-behavior, repeated daily, will rewire your brain for calm authority. And once that becomes natural, you won't just be seen, you'll be felt. And we're just scratching the surface of how deep that mark can go. And here, a quick break. If this type of content is opening your eyes to things you've never noticed before, hit the like button and subscribe now, because what's coming next is going to take everything we've said and push it to another level. Let's keep going. You've mastered silence and presence. Now it's time to weaponize unpredictability. 4. Be the storm she didn't expect. Here's the hard truth. If she can fully predict you, she'll never fully want you. What activates the subconscious is unpredictability, emotional variety, not chaos, not trauma, but controlled volatility. One day you're deeply engaged. The next, you're distant. Not because you're playing games, but because your desire is not guaranteed. That dynamic makes her feel something she can't label, and that's where real addiction starts. The nice guy is always available, always stable, always eager. And he ends up being forgotten. You don't want to be stable. You want to be memorable. That comes from being hard to figure out. She should feel connected to you one day and question everything the next. It's the psychological equivalent of a cliffhanger. And cliffhangers leave emotional imprints that are impossible to ignore. So how do you do this without being toxic? Simple. Stop broadcasting your intentions. Don't tell her what you're going to do. Just do it. Cancel plans last minute once in a while. Disappear for a weekend. Say, I need some time to think, and leave it there. That mystery builds tension. It makes her anxious, but intrigued. And that tension is what glues her to you emotionally. Another tactic, switch up your responses. If you're usually serious, drop in unexpected humor. If you're usually playful, become reflective. Let her feel like she's constantly learning new sides of you. The Enigma is powerful because it keeps her mind working. And when her mind is working on you, that's where you live rent-free. In her thoughts, in her dreams, in her dopamine loop. Your unpredictability must be intentional. You're not doing this because you're unstable. You're doing it because you understand influence. Every time she thinks she knows what comes next, you flip it. Not for cruelty, but to shake her control. Most women are used to leading the dance. You change the rhythm, and suddenly, she's chasing. Not because you asked, because you left her mentally off balance. Here's a practical example. If she's expecting a romantic evening, make it stoic and quiet instead. If she expects silence, show up with strong eye contact and a bold move. You're not here to impress her. You're here to imprint her. And the man who leaves a permanent psychological mark never dances to someone else's emotional playlist. He brings his own music, his own tempo, his own fire. This is how storms work. They come and go without asking permission. And when they leave, they change the landscape. That's what you are now, a psychological weather system. Calm one day, intense the next, but never predictable, never safe. And it's time we explore how this level of tension can evolve into something even more powerful. Time to stop being a memory and start becoming an emotional anchor. 5. Create moments that tattoo her mind. A woman doesn't remember your words. She remembers how she felt in your presence. That's your leverage. If you want to leave a permanent psychological mark, your job is not to impress her, it's to stir her. You need to trigger emotion that's raw, unusual, unforgettable. The moment she feels something she hasn't felt in years or ever, her brain flags it as important. That's how you become a reference point. Forget buying gifts or reciting clever lines. Make her feel seen in ways no one else does. Ask her things no one asks. When did you stop trusting people? What would destroy you emotionally? These questions bypass her ego and go straight into her subconscious. It's uncomfortable, and that's the point. You're not creating ease. You're creating impact. That's what lingers long after you're gone. You need to understand this. Most men are forgettable because they play it safe. They aim to be liked, not remembered. But the man who causes intrigue, who touches her emotionally and then retreats, becomes a story, a mystery, a what if. And that mental loop creates a quiet obsession. She won't be able to explain why she thinks of you at night, She just will. Here's a move most men won't dare try. In a calm moment, share a deep personal story. Something real, vulnerable, but not self-pitying. Then go silent. No moral, no closure. Let her process it alone. That open loop creates tension. It draws her in emotionally, then drops her just short of comfort. That gap becomes a craving. It's a strategy, not by accident, but by design. If you make her laugh, then cry, then feel unsafe, then comforted, all in the same interaction, you've created emotional variety. That's addiction. Her nervous system will seek your presence to feel alive. You've become a drug, not a routine, not a placeholder. A man who can stir the storm and disappear into the calm. That's power she can't forget. So how do you practice this? Start by remembering moments that moved you. Recreate that energy. Use music. Use silence. Ask tough questions. Look her in the eyes and say, I see something in you most people ignore, and walk away. That detachment after intensity is where the emotional imprint burns deepest. You gave her something no one else could, and then remove it. These moments aren't random. They're engineered, crafted with purpose. You don't become unforgettable by accident. You study the emotional patterns of memory and inject yourself into them. That's the difference between a nice guy and a Machiavellian man. One gets a thank you. The other becomes a scar, beautiful, meaningful, and permanent. Final phase. Stop chasing her heart. Start living inside her mind. 6. Become the man she can't decipher. Here's the final transformation. Be the man who doesn't make sense and doesn't care to. When she can label you, she can control you. But when you become a mystery, you dominate her thoughts. She'll think of you during quiet moments, not because of what you gave her, but because of what you withheld. Her mind loops on what it can't grasp, and that mental loop becomes your influence. Don't rush to be understood. Be felt, be questioned. When she says, I don't get you, smile and say, good. You don't owe her your emotional GPS. You owe her an experience. That experience is made of contradictions, warmth and coldness, desire and restraint, availability and withdrawal. That blend becomes a storm in her subconscious, and storms leave marks. The Machiavellian man isn't heartless. He's precise. He knows the difference between connection and dependency. You don't create obsession by being perfect. You create it by being unpredictable, emotionally rich, and slightly out of reach. That slight detachment gives her space to project, to fantasize, to doubt herself. And that inner chaos ties her to your image more than love ever could. You want an actionable step? From now on, stop clarifying your every move. If she asks where you're going, say, somewhere I need to be. If she asks what you're thinking, say, not everything needs to be shared. Those phrases carry power, not because they're rude, but because they resist emotional exposure. You give enough to ignite the flame, but never the full fire. The man who can live without being understood is the man who gets remembered. Why? Because he's rare. He's not another story. He's the untold chapter, the emotional itch she can't scratch. That level of dominance doesn't scream, it whispers. And when it's gone, it echoes. Most men talk to be heard. You, instead, move in silence, and that silence becomes her favorite noise. Start owning that version of yourself today. Journal what makes you feel hard to reach, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and become that man, not for show, for real. Practice holding tension in conversations. Practice walking away from validation. Practice stillness. The more you embody this, the deeper your emotional imprint goes. Not on her body, on her mind. In the end, it's not about being loved or even desired. It's about becoming a part of her mental architecture. The one memory that keeps breaking the surface. That's the enigma. That's the man who isn't just remembered. He's replayed, reanalyzed, and never fully replaced. Now it's your move. You've just learned how to speak without words, imprint without touching, and influence without asking. But none of this matters if you don't act. So let me ask you, will you keep trying to win her with comfort, or will you finally show her what power feels like in silence? What part of this hit you the hardest? Was it the tension, the detachment, the precision? Drop it in the comments below, Not just for you, but for every man reading who needs to hear it too. And if you're bold enough, type this in the comments. She feel me long after I'm gone. That one line says everything. Thanks for staying with me until the end. That already makes you rare. Most stop when it gets uncomfortable, but you didn't. And for that, respect. If this video made you feel something shift inside, do me one favor, like this video, send it to someone who needs it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Let's keep growing. Let's keep evolving.